Well, the Trump administration on Friday orders construction to stop on a wind farm off the coast of Rhode Island, citing national security concerns. The project had previously been approved by the Biden administration. This comes after President Trump slammed New Jersey high energy prices on offshore windmills. Here with me now, the Environmental Protection Agency's Administrator, Lee Zeldin. Administrator, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you.
So what's behind this? I know this is more of an Interior Department thing, but what's the problem with this wind farm in Rhode Island?
President Trump's been very consistent. He's not a fan of wind, the economics of it. He's also been outspoken on environmental impacts to fisheries. And we saw a Section 232 decision for an investigation out of Commerce, which was news over the course of the last day or two, looking at windmill imports from out of the country and analyzing whether it's a national security threat. So now you add the national security impact with that decision from Commerce. The president, he's not a fan of wind. And there are leaders in Congress, governors of states, who talk about wind as if it's a substitute for baseload power. Our country needs more baseload power. We need to unleash energy dominance. And it's just not an honest approach to this entire energy conversation if we start acting as if wind is going to be a substitute for all these other things. We need more natural gas. We need to build more pipelines. Coal plants are essential for states and regions across the country. We have to be smart about our energy policy. And President Trump's been pretty darn consistent about it the whole time.
Mm-hmm. You know, but you look at what this does. This project was apparently largely almost finished. You've got AI. You've got the electrification of everything around us. I mean, we just need power. I mean, why would you take any power offline?
Well, we certainly need a lot more baseload power. Intermittent sources of energy are more unreliable. And there are some states where, purple, blue states where a Democratic governor is more honest with how this conversation goes, saying, yes, we need more baseload power. We need more reliable power. I was just in New England where they rely on foreign sources of energy, where they can use more natural gas. Well, Williams Pipeline wants to build a pipeline called Constitution Pipeline, delivering natural gas from Pennsylvania into New England. We were just in Alaska with the National Energy Dominance Council, Secretary Wright, Secretary Burgum, where they want to build a liquid natural gas pipeline alongside of the Trans-Alaska pipeline, several hundreds of miles. And we had a bunch of foreign leaders from Asian countries and elsewhere there because they want to be able to tap into it. There's a project in the southwest of the United States to deliver natural gas from New Mexico into Arizona. The understanding that we need more baseload power for this race for AI to make sure we're avoiding rolling brownouts, blackouts is huge. And anyone out there who wants to talk as if wind is going to be the answer, they're really missing out on the other 99% of the energy sources that our country needs more of.
Is there room for both? I mean, you look at Texas, for example. They get more than a quarter of their power from wind, and that's not exactly a left-leaning state.
Yeah, well, first off, a lot of this conversation has been about offshore wind, and the president has been extremely outspoken on that for a very long time. The economics of wind, a lot of wind and solar that we see out there wouldn't exist without subsidies from government. Government would have to prop it up in order for it to even exist, to be sustained, where there's all sorts of energy sources that are being left on tap. I come from New York, where they ban the safe extraction of natural gas. They won't extract any natural gas at all. They haven't approved new pipeline applications. They won't allow the gas hookups to new construction, or to, they're trying to move towards banning the sale of gas-powered vehicles. And they set climate goals where by that year they will not hit the goal, and they know it. But in trying to hit the goal, they'll cause economic pain for people who can't afford to experience it. So the pendulum needs to be corrected. And President Trump wants to unleash U.S. energy dominance. And at the EPA, we're here for it. We want to help. EPA has the power to gum up the works. We also have the power to speed things up. We're here to get things done as fast as possible.
Yeah, and you guys are deregulating. You're doing it quickly. On the greenhouse gas deregulation, there are some concerns that if you roll back the finding that greenhouse gases are detrimental to people's health, that it would make it more difficult for American natural gas to be sold in Europe. Is that the case?
Well, first off, we're going to follow the law. And the Supreme Court has ruled in recent years in decisions like Loper-Bright overturning the Chevron doctrine, West Virginia versus EPA, Michigan versus EPA, and other cases, that we get our power from statute. And we have to look at the plain language of the statute. And the very creative interpretation of Section 202 of the Clean Air Act that the Obama EPA used in 2009, the Supreme Court has weighed in and say, you guys can't be getting creative like this. And then on top of it, what's called the major policy doctrine, EPA can't then put trillions of dollars of new regulations out. So a big part of this conversation when we talk about reconsideration of the 2009 endangerment finding is identifying whether or not we have the power to even do the trillions of dollars worth of regulation. That's a big part of it. You know, if there's going to be a debate on policy, that debate should be had right here next to where we are in that building in the Capitol, where members of Congress elected by the people are having the debate, they're having the vote. And if they want EPA to be regulating the heck out of anything and putting trillions of dollars of regulations in place, it shouldn't be a bureaucrat at some agency deciding what's best. Let's do it in front of the people with members of Congress having that debate in front of everybody.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.